Let's talk about the properties of real number. We will identify and use the following properties for this video. We'll go over commutative property, associative property, identity property, inverse property, and the distributive property. Let's get started. The first one is a commutative property. It works for both the adding and multiplication. Commutative property says that in whichever order you add your numbers, the result will be same both the sides. So A plus B equals B plus A. Same thing goes with the multiplication. A times B will equal B times A. Here's an example. If I add 3 plus 7 or if I add 7 plus 3, they both will result in 10. Similarly, if I multiply 4 times 5 or if I multiply 5 times 4, they both will result in 20, both the sides. We can also use a commutative property with the three numbers for adding and multiplication. In adding and multiplication, you just need to make sure that the parenthesis on either side, the numbers which are grouped inside the parenthesis should be kept same. The only thing I have changed here is in the order. A, B, C on my left and B, C, A on my right. I'll show you with the example. 4 plus 1 plus 6. I have grouped together 1 and 6. On the other side, I have 1 plus 6 plus 4. So you see that I have changed the order of my number, but my grouping both the sides are same. 1 and 6 are inside the parenthesis both the sides. Following this, if I do that, in the first and the left side, I'll get 4 plus 7, and on the right side, I will get 7 plus 4. Both will give me 11. And similarly, I can use the same idea for multiplication as well. It doesn't matter regardless which two numbers I multiply first, both the sides, the solution will remain same. Let's talk about the associative property now. Associative means to group something. Here you definitely need three numbers and you will need a parenthesis to group. This property also works for adding and multiplication. The difference between commutative property and associative property is in associative property we keep the same order, but what goes inside the parenthesis on both the sides will be different. So if I have A plus B plus C on my left side, my right side I have A plus B plus C. So the order is same. I have grouped the A and B on my left side and I have grouped my B and C on my right side. Let me show you here with the multiplication example. 5 times 2 inside the parenthesis times 9 should give me the same example, same answer as 5 times 2 times 9 inside the parenthesis. On the left side, I'm multiplying 10 by 9 to get a 90. And on the right side, I'm multiplying 18 times 5 to get a 90. So regardless of what two numbers I put inside the parentheses, my solution is coming up the same thing. So in short, you have to check the parentheses. If the numbers inside the parentheses, both the right side and the left side, if they are different, it's associative property. If the numbers inside the parentheses, both the sides are same, then it's a commutative property. The third property is an identity property. This one also works for adding and multiplication. Identity element is a 0 because A plus 0 is A. No matter what number you have, you add 0 to that number and the answer will result in that number. Nothing will change. With the multiplication, 1 is called the identity element. The reason why, because any number you times by 1 will remain the same. Let me show you with the example. Negative 4 plus 0 will give me negative 4. So I kept my identity negative 4 on both the sides. 8 times 1 is 8. I kept my identity of 8 when I'm multiplying on both the sides same by multiplying by 1. So 0 is your identity element and 1 is your identity multiplication element. Next property is inverse. Addition inverse, you must do the opposite. It's also called additive inverse. So here we are looking for a number. What should we add to the number so we get a 0? That only is possible when you're adding a number and its opposite. For multiplication, when you have a number, you're thinking of what you times that by number, so you should get 1. It's called multiplicative inverse. In that case, you have to flip a number or write the reciprocal of a number. Let me show you with an example. 6 opposite of 6 is a negative 6. A positive and a negative number will of course give me 0. 4 times what will give me 1? If I write the reciprocal of 4, it will be 1 over 4. Or if I flip the 4, 4 over 1 will become 1 over 4. And that will result in 1. So adding is always opposite, one positive, one negative. Multiplication should be reciprocal. Basically, you are flipping the number that should equal 1. Now, before I go over the distributive property, let's go over some of the examples now and let's identify which property is used. Here's our first one. Let's examine the property here. P plus negative P equals 0. So I'm adding opposites here to get a 0. Which property is this? This is an inverse because we're adding two opposite, either numbers or letter, to get a 0. This is an example of inverse property. Let's try another one. Let's look at this one. Here I have three numbers. 2 times negative 7 times 6 equals 2 times negative 7 times 6. First thing I noticed is that the order is same on both the sides. On my left side, the 2 and the negative 7 are grouped. And on my right side, negative 7 and 6 are grouped. When the grouping is different, it's called an associative property. This is an example of multiplication property, associative property. Multiplication, association, associative property. Let's look at this one. 6 times negative 5 over 7 equals negative 5 over 7 times 6. In this example, the order is different. A times B equals B times A. This is an example of a commutative property. Let's try a new one. 78 over 100 plus 0 equals 78 over 100. The number before adding and the number after adding remains the same. Basically, I have kept my identity same. And I'm adding 0 to do that. This is an example of identity property for adding. Let's look at another example. 1/2 plus 2 over 7 plus 7 over 2 equals 7 over 2 plus 1/2 plus 2 over 7. First thing I notice is that the order is different on the right and the left side. Let's check the parentheses. On my right side, I have 1/2 and 2 over 7, and my left side also I have 1/2 plus 2 over 7. I did not change my grouping means parentheses. I only changed the order. This is an example of commutative property when you're adding. Here we go again. Negative 14 over 19 times negative 19 over 14 equals 1. I have a fraction and I'm multiplying by the reciprocal, means I have flipped the fraction to get 1. This is an example of inverse property. When you have a number, you times by the reciprocal to get the 1. This is an example of inverse. Let's try one more. M plus 7z plus 9l equals m plus 7z plus 9l. If you noticed, I have kept the order same. Let's see the grouping. On my left side, I have m and 7z grouped together. On my right side, I have 7z plus 9l grouped together. So my grouping is different here, but my order is same. This is an example of an associative property. Let's try this one. 45t over 67j times 1 equals 45t over 67j. The number before multiplying and the number after remains the same. So I have exactly the same thing before and after the equal sign. 1 is the number when you multiply by anything, keeps the thing same. This is an example of identity property when you're multiplying. I guess now you're ready for the distributive property. Distribute means to give out from one to several. We are distributing. It involves both the addition and multiplication. With this property, the product can be changed to sum or the difference. A times B plus C equals A times B plus A times C. We are distributing our A to B first, and then we are distributing our A to C. In the second row, I have A times B minus C equals A times B minus A times C. Same idea. I'm multiplying A times B to get AB, and I'm multiplying A times negative C to get negative AC. Let's try some examples now. Here's the first one. Let me get the pen here. So I have 3. I will multiply by x first. 3 times x will give me 3x. Then I'm going to multiply 3 times positive 5. That will give me positive 15. So the distributive property, if I use this, will give me 3x plus 15. Let's try another one. Negative 4 times y plus 7. I should multiply negative 4 times y to get negative 4y. And then I will multiply negative 4 times a positive 7. That will give me negative 28. That's how I get negative 4y minus 28. Let's try a few more examples to understand the distributive property better. 3 times h plus 15 minus 3n. I'm going to multiply 3 times h, that is 3h. Multiply 3 times positive 15, that will be positive 45. I will multiply 3 times negative 3n, that will give me negative 9n. So my answer using a distributive property is 3h plus 45 minus 9n. Let's try 2 more. Negative 4 times 8m plus y minus 7. First you multiply negative 4 times 8m. That should give you negative 32m. Negative 4 times y will give me negative 4y. One more time, negative 4 times negative 7 will give you positive 28. So distributive property, the solution will be negative 32m minus 4y plus 28. Let's try one more. In this example, if you see, I do not have any number outside, it's just a negative sign. You can put the 1 here, imaginary 1 if you prefer, but there's no need. Negative times negative would change it to the positive 5e. Negative times negative will change it to the positive 7c. Negative times positive will change it to negative 9x. So using a distributive property, we will get 5e plus 7c minus 9x. Please repeat the video if needed to go over the 5 properties again.